Chapter 1. The Rise of a Sultan. The Young Prince. In the bustling Ottoman Empire, a young prince named Suleiman was born to Sultan Suleiman and his wife, Hafsa Sultan. Growing up in the magnificent Topkapi Palace, Suleiman was surrounded by the finest scholars, architects and artists, all of whom played a crucial role in shaping his intellect and character. As a child, Suleiman was taught a variety of subjects, including history, geography, and religion. His education was also focused on mastering diplomacy, military strategy, and horsemanship, essential skills for a future ruler. He spent countless hours practicing archery and sword fighting, with the determination to become a skilled warrior. Suleiman's passion for learning was undeniable, and his curiosity extended to poetry, art, and music. Suleiman's father, Sultan Suleiman, recognized his son's potential and sought to prepare him for the throne. To gain experience in governing, Suleiman was appointed as the governor of various provinces, starting with Kaffa and later moving on to Manisa. This early exposure to the responsibilities of ruling allowed the young prince to hone his leadership skills and understand the complexities of managing an empire. Throughout these years, Suleiman was accompanied by his closest friend, Ibrahim Pasha, who would later become his most trusted advisor. Together, they faced numerous challenges and learned valuable lessons about loyalty, friendship, and the true meaning of power. As the years passed, Suleiman's wisdom and strength grew, preparing him for the day he would ascend the throne and become one of the greatest sultans in history. Unbeknownst to him, his reign would usher in a golden age for the Ottoman Empire, marked by immense progress in art, science, and diplomacy. The path to power. As the young prince, Suleiman continued to grow and learn. He witnessed his father's powerful reign. Sultan Suleiman, a strong and decisive ruler, expanded the Ottoman Empire's borders through strategic military conquests. Suleiman observed and absorbed the importance of military might, diplomacy, and the delicate balance required to maintain an empire. In 1520, Suleiman passed away, and Suleiman, aged 26, found himself thrust into the immense responsibility of ruling the empire. The weight of his newfound power bore heavily on his shoulders, but his rigorous education and years of training as a governor had prepared him for this very moment. With the support of his mother, Hafsa Sultan, and his friend, Ibrahim Pasha, Suleiman was ready to embrace his destiny. As he ascended the throne, Suleiman vowed to uphold justice and fairness throughout the empire. He understood that maintaining a vast realm was not just about military conquests and expanding borders, but also about ensuring the welfare of his people. He immediately set to work reforming the legal system, focusing on fairness and compassion for all citizens, regardless of their social standing. Suleiman's reign quickly became a time of innovation and cultural growth. He was a patron of the arts, fostering the talents of many artists, architects, and scholars who thrived under his rule. He commissioned grand architectural projects, such as the magnificent Suleimani Mosque, which showcased the empire's splendor and prosperity. Suleiman's wisdom, fairness, and dedication to his people earned him the title Suleiman the Lawgiver, or Suleiman the Magnificent, as he was known in the West. His journey to power was just the beginning of a legendary reign that would leave a lasting impact on the world. The coronation. The day of Suleiman's coronation was a momentous occasion for the Ottoman Empire. The streets of Istanbul were adorned with colorful banners, and the air was filled with excitement and anticipation. The citizens, nobles, and dignitaries gathered to witness the historic event, eager to see their new sultan take the throne. As Suleiman stood before the cheering crowd, he was dressed in a regal robe of deep blue, embroidered with intricate gold patterns. Upon his head, He wore the traditional sultan's turban, decorated with precious gems that reflected the morning sun. He looked every bit the majestic ruler that he was destined to become. The grand ceremony began with a procession of elite Janissary guards and esteemed officials, who proudly marched through the streets toward the breathtaking Hagia Sophia, where the coronation would take place. Suleiman followed, seated on a magnificent horse adorned with gold and jewels, symbolizing his powerful position as the leader of the empire. Inside the Hagia Sophia, religious leaders, dignitaries, and Suleiman's closest allies awaited his arrival. As he entered the hallowed hall, the atmosphere was reverent and filled with awe. The chief religious leader, or Grand Mufti, recited prayers and blessings, asking for divine guidance and protection for the new sultan. Finally, the moment came when Suleiman was presented with the sword of Osman, a sacred symbol of the sultan's authority, and a relic that had been passed down through generations of Ottoman rulers. With the sword in hand, Suleiman took a solemn oath to rule with wisdom, justice, and compassion. As the crowd erupted in applause and cheers, it was clear that a new era had begun, an era that would see the Ottoman Empire reach unprecedented heights under the leadership of Sultan Suleiman the Lawgiver. Chapter 2. The Quest for Knowledge. The Great Library. Sultan Suleiman was a firm believer in the power of knowledge and the importance of education. As a patron of arts and sciences, he understood that an educated society was key to the prosperity and progress of the empire. With this vision in mind, he embarked on a mission to establish one of the largest and most comprehensive libraries in the world. Suleiman summoned the empire's best architects, scholars, and craftsmen to design and construct the Great Library of Istanbul. The building was to be a marvel of Ottoman architecture, featuring elegant domes, soaring minarets, and intricate tile work. It would not only be a storehouse of knowledge, but also a testament to the empire's artistic and intellectual prowess. The Great Library's collection would encompass a wide range of subjects, from history and philosophy to mathematics and astronomy. Suleiman ordered his emissaries to scour the empire and beyond, collecting rare and valuable manuscripts from distant lands. Scholars from various backgrounds were invited to contribute their expertise, ensuring that the library would become a melting pot of ideas and knowledge from diverse cultures. As the library took shape, it quickly became a hub for scholars, students, and curious minds. Within its hallowed halls, people gathered to study, debate, and exchange ideas, fostering a spirit of intellectual curiosity and innovation. Suleiman himself was often found within the library, poring over ancient texts and engaging in spirited discussions with the scholars. The Great Library of Istanbul was more than just a monument to knowledge. It was a symbol of the golden age that Sultan Suleiman's reign had ushered in, an age where culture, arts, and education flourished like never before. The wise scholars. As the Great Library of Istanbul thrived, Sultan Suleiman continued to cultivate a culture of learning and intellectual growth within the empire. He believed that the wisdom of the scholars was the key to unlocking new ideas and innovations that would propel the empire to even greater heights. To achieve this vision, Suleiman invited some of the most brilliant minds from across the realm and beyond to join his court. Among the wise scholars was Mimar Sinan, a renowned architect and engineer whose expertise and creativity would play a crucial role in shaping the empire's architectural landscape. Sinan's designs, including the breathtaking Suleimani Mosque, would become iconic symbols of Ottoman glory and ingenuity. Another prominent figure in Suleiman's circle was Piri Reis, a skilled cartographer and navigator whose knowledge of the world's geography was unmatched. His detailed maps and navigational charts would guide Ottoman sailors on their voyages to distant lands, opening new doors for trade and exploration. In addition to these notable individuals, the scholars in Suleiman's court represented a wide range of disciplines such as medicine, mathematics, astronomy, and poetry. The Sultan encouraged a spirit of collaboration and open discussion, where ideas could be freely exchanged and debated. These gatherings of scholars, known as Medrese, became a vital part of Ottoman society. Here, the empire's most brilliant minds shared their wisdom, shaping the future of the realm through their discoveries and innovations. Under Suleiman's patronage, this rich intellectual environment would pave the way for the Ottoman Empire to become a beacon of knowledge and progress in the world. The lessons learned. Sultan Suleiman's commitment to knowledge and education extended far beyond the establishment of the Great Library and the gatherings of scholars. He took an active role in his own intellectual growth and was deeply involved in the discussions and debates that took place within his court. The lessons Suleiman learned from the wise scholars greatly influenced his approach to ruling the empire. From Memar Sinan, he gained an appreciation for the importance of architecture in representing the empire's strength and cultural identity. He understood that grand architectural projects, such as mosques and public buildings, were not only symbols of power, but also served to inspire and unite the people. From Piri Reis, Suleiman learned the value of exploration and trade in expanding the empire's influence and wealth. He encouraged the establishment of trade routes and the construction of a formidable navy, enabling the Ottoman Empire to become a major player in global commerce. The insights Suleiman gained from the scholars in various fields, such as medicine, astronomy, and mathematics, helped him make informed decisions that benefited the empire as a whole. By embracing the latest advancements in science and technology, he was able to modernize the empire's infrastructure and military capabilities. But perhaps the most important lesson Suleiman learned from the scholars was the importance of fostering a culture of learning and intellectual curiosity. By nurturing the talents of his people and encouraging the pursuit of knowledge, Suleiman was able to create an environment where innovation and progress could thrive. Under Suleiman's wise and enlightened leadership, the Ottoman Empire reached new heights of prosperity, power, and cultural achievement. The lessons he learned from the wise scholars would not only shape his reign, but also leave a lasting legacy for future generations. Chapter 3: The Golden Age begins. The flourishing empire. After the challenges faced by the Ottoman Empire, a period of prosperity and growth ensued, known as the Golden Age. This period saw a renaissance in the arts, architecture, and literature, as well as the expansion of the empire's territories and influence. Under the rule of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, the Ottoman Empire became a major global power, with a vast and diverse population that included Muslims, Christians, and Jews. This diversity was reflected in the empire's cultural and artistic achievements, as well as in its tolerance of different religions and beliefs. During this time, Istanbul, the empire's capital, became a hub of artistic and intellectual activity. The Sultan himself was a patron of the arts, and his court was home to many talented poets, musicians, and artists. One of the most famous works of this period is the Topkapi Palace, a stunning example of Ottoman architecture that served as the Sultan's residence and the seat of government. The Golden Age was also marked by significant military victories, including the capture of Rhodes and the conquest of Hungary. The empire's military might allowed it to expand its influence and secure important trade routes, making it a dominant force in the region. In addition to military and artistic achievements, the Golden Age was characterized by advancements in science, technology, and medicine. The Ottoman Empire was home to many renowned scientists and scholars who made significant contributions to fields such as astronomy, mathematics, and medicine. The Golden Age of the Ottoman Empire is often seen as a time of great cultural, artistic, and scientific achievement. It was a period of expansion, growth, and prosperity, and its legacy can still be seen in modern-day Turkey and throughout the world. In conclusion, the flourishing of the Ottoman Empire during the Golden Age marked a time of great progress and achievement in various fields such as art, architecture, literature, military, and science. The diverse and tolerant nature of the empire allowed for a thriving and vibrant cultural scene that left a lasting legacy. The Golden Age was a testament to the power and influence of the Ottoman Empire, and its impact can still be felt today. The architect Sinan. One of the most notable figures during the Golden Age of the Ottoman Empire was Mimar Sinan, the chief architect of the sultans. He is widely regarded as the greatest architect of the Ottoman era, having designed hundreds of buildings, including mosques, madrasas, tombs, and palaces. Sinan's talent for architecture was recognized early on, and he was drafted into the Janissary Corps, where he received formal training in the craft. He later became a court architect and rose through the ranks to become the chief architect of the sultans, a position he held for nearly 50 years. Sinan's style was characterized by a fusion of traditional Ottoman and Byzantine influences with classical elements. His designs were renowned for their structural innovation, with many of his buildings featuring large domes and intricate patterns of light and shadow. Some of Sinan's most famous works include the Suleimani Mosque in Istanbul, the Selimli Mosque in Edirne, and the Rustam Pasha Mosque in Istanbul. Each of these buildings showcases Sinan's mastery of space, form, and ornamentation. Beyond his architectural achievements, Sinan was also known for his administrative prowess. He oversaw a vast network of craftsmen, artisans, and builders, and was responsible for the construction and maintenance of buildings throughout the Ottoman Empire. Under his leadership, the Ottoman construction industry became one of the most advanced in the world. Sinan's influence extended beyond his lifetime, with his designs inspiring countless architects and builders in the centuries that followed. His legacy remains a testament to the brilliance of Ottoman architecture and the enduring power of artistic vision. In conclusion, Mimar Sinan was a visionary architect who left an indelible mark on the Ottoman Empire and the world of architecture. His designs continue to inspire and captivate audiences, serving as a testament to the beauty and ingenuity of the Golden Age of the Ottoman Empire. The masterpieces unveiled. With the completion of several monumental structures and grand architectural projects, the Ottoman Empire under Suleiman the Magnificent reached new heights of splendor and opulence. The Sultan's passion for arts and culture was reflected in the grandeur of the new structures and the innovative styles they embodied. One of the most magnificent structures built during this era was the Suleimani Mosque, located in Istanbul. Designed by the master architect Mimar Sinan, the mosque's grandeur was unparalleled, with its towering minarets, massive domes, and spacious courtyards. The Suleimani Mosque was not only a place of worship, but it also served as a center for education and scientific study, housing a library and a medical school. Another iconic structure built during this period was the Selimli Mosque, located in the city of Edirne. This mosque was the crowning achievement of Mimar Sinan's illustrious career, with its grand dome measuring over 31 meters in diameter and towering over 70 meters in height. The mosque's grandeur and beauty inspired awe in all who beheld it. Apart from the mosques, the Ottomans also built several palaces, baths, and fountains during this era. One of the most famous palaces was the Topkapi Palace, which served as the residence of the Ottoman sultans for over 400 years. The palace's grandeur was unmatched, with its sprawling gardens, ornate courtyards, and opulent living quarters. The Ottomans also constructed several magnificent public fountains, which were not only functional, but also works of art. One of the most famous fountains built during this era was the Fountain of Ahmed Ailey, located in the Hippodrome of Constantinople. This fountain was designed in the Baroque style, with intricate marble carvings and cascading water features. The Ottoman Empire's architectural and artistic achievements during Suleiman's reign continue to inspire and awe people today. The masterpieces that were unveiled during this period have stood the test of time and continue to be symbols of the empire's golden age. Chapter 4. A Troubled Kingdom. The Unrest. Under Sultan Suleiman's rule, the Ottoman Empire experienced tremendous growth and prosperity. However, this rapid expansion brought with it a series of challenges that threatened the stability of the empire. Social unrest began to brew as the expanding empire incorporated diverse populations with different languages, religions, and customs. As the empire grew, the demands on its administration and resources increased, leading to various issues such as corruption and inefficiency. The central government struggled to maintain control over the vast territories, and local leaders started to assert their authority in the absence of strong central oversight. Moreover, the empire's expansion also brought it into contact with powerful rival states. These external pressures created tension within the empire, as various factions vied for influence and power, further contributing to the atmosphere of unrest. To make matters worse, a series of natural disasters, such as droughts and earthquakes, further strained the empire's resources, leading to food shortages and widespread discontent among the population. This unrest soon started to manifest in the form of protests and uprisings, forcing Sultan Suleiman to address these challenges and find a way to restore stability to his kingdom. The rebellion. As the unrest within the empire escalated, a series of rebellions broke out in different regions, posing a significant challenge to Sultan Suleiman's rule. These rebellions were fueled by a combination of factors, including dissatisfaction with the central government, religious tensions, and local power struggles. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, Suleiman took decisive action to quell the rebellions and restore order to the empire. He gathered his most trusted advisors and generals, formulating a strategy to address the root causes of the uprisings and to reassert his authority over the rebellious regions. Suleiman's strategy involved a mix of military force and diplomatic negotiations. He dispatched his armies to suppress the more violent rebellions, demonstrating the strength and resolve of the Ottoman Empire. At the same time, he sent emissaries to negotiate with the leaders of the more moderate factions, offering them concessions and incentives in exchange for their loyalty and cooperation. Throughout this challenging period, Suleiman showed great wisdom and restraint in his response to the rebellions. Rather than resorting to indiscriminate violence, he sought to address the underlying grievances of the discontented populations, implementing reforms aimed at improving governance, promoting religious tolerance, and reducing corruption. Through these efforts, Sultan Suleiman managed to quell the rebellions and restore stability to the empire, demonstrating his remarkable leadership and unwavering commitment to the well-being of his people. The resolution. With the rebellions posing a significant threat to the empire's stability, Sultan Suleiman understood that decisive action was needed to restore order and regain the trust of his people. He embarked on a series of reforms and initiatives aimed at addressing the root causes of the unrest and bringing the rebellious factions back into the fold. One of Suleiman's key initiatives was to restructure the empire's administration, ensuring that local leaders were held accountable for their actions and that their authority was balanced by the central government's oversight. This helped to curb corruption and nepotism, fostering a more equitable distribution of resources and power within the empire. In addition, Suleiman recognized the importance of religious tolerance in maintaining social harmony. He enacted policies that promoted greater religious freedom and mutual respect among the empire's diverse communities. This included granting protection and privileges to religious minorities, which helped to ease tensions and foster a more inclusive society. Suleiman also invested in infrastructure projects aimed at improving the quality of life for his subjects. This included the construction of roads, bridges, and public buildings, as well as the expansion of irrigation systems to increase agricultural productivity and alleviate food shortages. Through these efforts, Sultan Suleiman succeeded in restoring stability to the empire and re-establishing his authority over the rebellious regions. His wise and compassionate leadership not only brought an end to the period of unrest, but also set the stage for a new era of prosperity and progress in the Ottoman Empire. Chapter 5. The Lawgiver's Code. The Call for Justice. During his reign, Sultan Suleiman became increasingly aware of the importance of a just and equitable legal system for maintaining the stability and prosperity of the Ottoman Empire. He understood that the rule of law was essential to ensuring the well-being of his subjects and the continued growth of the empire. As a result, Suleiman took it upon himself to become the champion of justice, earning him the title of Suleiman the Lawgiver, or Al-Kanuni in Arabic. He began by identifying the shortcomings and inconsistencies in the existing legal system, which had become a patchwork of customary laws, Islamic jurisprudence, and various local traditions. Determined to bring about meaningful change, Suleiman assembled a team of legal scholars and experts from different backgrounds to review and reform the empire's legal code. He tasked them with the crucial mission of creating a unified and comprehensive legal system that would be fair, just, and accessible to all citizens, regardless of their social status or religious beliefs. The call for justice resonated throughout the empire, as people from all walks of life recognized the importance of Suleiman's efforts in creating a more equitable society. The reforms initiated by the Sultan laid the groundwork for a legal system that would serve as a model for generations to come, fostering a culture of fairness and integrity within the empire. The new laws. Under Sultan Suleiman's guidance, the team of legal scholars and experts set to work on drafting the new laws that would form the basis of the reformed Ottoman legal system. These laws aimed to address a wide range of issues, from criminal justice and property rights to marriage and inheritance. One of the most significant aspects of the new legal code was its emphasis on equality before the law. Suleiman ensured that all citizens, regardless of their social standing or religious background, would be subject to the same set of rules and have equal access to justice. This principle of equal treatment was a radical departure from the previous system, which often favored the wealthy and powerful. The new laws also sought to protect the rights and interests of the empire's most vulnerable citizens, including women, children, and religious minorities. Suleiman's legal reforms introduced provisions to safeguard these groups from abuse and exploitation, promoting a more just and compassionate society. Another crucial aspect of the reformed legal system was its focus on transparency and accountability. The new laws established clear procedures and guidelines for legal proceedings, ensuring that justice was administered fairly and consistently. Furthermore, these laws sought to curb corruption and abuse of power by imposing strict penalties on those who violated the law, regardless of their position or status. As the new legal code took shape, it became apparent that Suleiman's reforms would have a profound and lasting impact on the Ottoman Empire, paving the way for a more just and equitable society. The fair rule. With the introduction of the new laws, the Ottoman Empire entered a new era of fair rule under Sultan Suleiman's leadership. The reformed legal system brought about significant changes in the way justice was administered, as well as in the lives of the empire's citizens. The legal reforms introduced by Suleiman ensured that disputes were resolved through a fair and impartial process, instilling confidence in the legal system among the people. Citizens began to trust that their grievances would be addressed fairly and without bias, which fostered a sense of unity and loyalty to the empire. Moreover, the fair rule established by the new legal code helped to reduce social tensions and create a more harmonious society. By protecting the rights and interests of all citizens, regardless of their background, the laws promoted a spirit of mutual respect and understanding among the empire's diverse communities. As the fair rule took hold, the Ottoman Empire saw improvements in various aspects of society, including economic growth, social mobility, and public order. The stability provided by the reformed legal system allowed the empire to flourish as trade, industry, and agriculture prospered under the protection of the law. Sultan Suleiman's commitment to justice and the rule of law left a lasting legacy in the Ottoman Empire. His legal reforms not only transformed the empire into a more just and equitable society, but also set an example for future generations of rulers to follow. Chapter 6. The Conquest of Rhodes, the Island Fortress. As Sultan Suleiman continued to expand the Ottoman Empire, one strategic target on his radar was the island of Rhodes. Located in the eastern Mediterranean, Rhodes was a formidable fortress controlled by the Knights Hospitaller, a Christian military order that had a history of resisting Ottoman expansion. The island's strategic position made it a crucial prize, as it served as a gateway to the eastern Mediterranean and the trade routes beyond. The Knights Hospitaller had turned Rhodes into a heavily fortified stronghold, complete with towering walls, imposing bastions, and a well-equipped garrison. The island's defences were so formidable that previous attempts by the Ottomans to conquer it had failed, most notably under Sultan Suleiman's own father, Suleiman. Undeterred by the island's fearsome reputation, Suleiman became determined to capture Rhodes and incorporate it into his growing empire. He knew that doing so would not only secure a vital strategic position, but also demonstrate the might of the Ottoman Empire to the rest of the world. As he prepared for the conquest of Rhodes, Suleiman gathered a massive fleet and army, assembling the finest military minds and the most advanced weaponry of the time. He understood that this would be no ordinary campaign, and that capturing the island fortress would require every ounce of his military prowess and strategic acumen. The battle begins. With his vast army and fleet assembled, Sultan Suleiman set sail for the island of Rhodes, determined to seize the fortress and secure a critical victory for the Ottoman Empire. As the imposing armada approached the island, the Knights Hospitaller and the people of Rhodes braced themselves for the fierce battle that lay ahead. Suleiman's forces wasted no time, launching a relentless assault on the island's defences. The Ottoman troops employed a variety of tactics, including siege towers, artillery bombardments, and tunnelling operations, to breach the formidable walls and infiltrate the city. The Knights Hospitaller, in turn, mounted a fierce resistance, repelling the Ottoman attacks with their own advanced weaponry and the unwavering courage of their defenders. The battle for Rhodes quickly turned into a grueling war of attrition, with both sides suffering heavy casualties and neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. As the days turned into weeks, the fighting grew more intense, and the people of Rhodes began to feel the strain of the prolonged siege. Despite the challenges they faced, the defenders of Rhodes remained resolute, drawing on their faith and their determination to protect their island home. However, Suleiman was equally determined to conquer the fortress, and he knew that victory would ultimately belong to the side that could endure the longest. The triumphant return. As the siege of Rhodes dragged on, Sultan Suleiman's forces gradually wore down the defenders' resolve. After months of bitter fighting and numerous failed attempts to breach the fortress walls, a series of daring Ottoman assaults finally succeeded in breaking through the island's defences. Recognizing that their position was becoming untenable, the Knights Hospitaller decided to negotiate terms of surrender. Suleiman, displaying his renowned magnanimity, agreed to let the remaining defenders leave the island unharmed, along with the civilian population who wished to depart. The conquest of Rhodes was a monumental achievement for the Ottoman Empire, further solidifying Suleiman's reputation as a formidable military leader. The capture of the island fortress not only secured a vital strategic position, but also dealt a significant blow to the Christian powers who opposed the empire's expansion. Sultan Suleiman's triumphant return to Constantinople was met with great fanfare and celebration. The people of the empire hailed their ruler as a conquering hero, and Suleiman revelled in the adulation of his subjects. The conquest of Rhodes marked yet another milestone in his illustrious reign, as the empire continued to grow and prosper under his wise and capable leadership. Chapter 7. The Love Story. The Beautiful Harem. Amidst his numerous conquests and the affairs of state, Sultan Suleiman's heart was captured by a woman of extraordinary beauty and intelligence, Harem Sultan. Originally a Christian captive from present-day Ukraine, Harem was brought to the Ottoman Empire as a slave and eventually found her way into the imperial harem. Harem, which means the cheerful one, possessed a captivating charm that quickly caught the attention of the Sultan. Her radiant smile, fiery red hair, and sharp wit set her apart from the other women in the harem. More than just her beauty, it was her intellect and strong personality that truly captivated Suleiman. As Harem's influence over the Sultan grew, so too did her status within the palace. She soon became one of the most powerful women in the Ottoman Empire, wielding considerable influence over both the Sultan and the empire's affairs. Harem's rise to power was unprecedented in Ottoman history, as no other concubine had ever achieved such a prominent position. Despite the challenges they faced and the disapproval of some courtiers, Suleiman and Harem's love for each other only grew stronger. Their relationship would become one of the most legendary love stories in history, leaving an indelible mark on the empire and shaping the course of its future. The Royal Romance. Sultan Suleiman and Harem's love story transcended the norms of the time and redefined the concept of romance in the Ottoman Empire. The depth of their feelings for each other was apparent not only in their actions, but also in the letters and poems they exchanged. In a remarkable break from tradition, Suleiman freed Harem from her status as a slave and took the unprecedented step of marrying her. This act not only solidified their bond, but also signaled a major shift in the social and political landscape of the empire, as Harem became the first legal wife of an Ottoman sultan in centuries. Harem's influence over the Sultan and her role in shaping the empire's policies were undeniable. She provided counsel on matters of state, diplomacy, and even military affairs, and her wisdom and perspective were highly valued by Suleiman. The royal couple's love for each other remained strong throughout their lives, with Suleiman commissioning grand architectural projects in Harem's honour and Harem supporting her husband's ambitions and endeavours. Together, they raised 6 children, including the future Sultan, Selim II. The love story of Sultan Suleiman and Hurrem Sultan is one for the ages, demonstrating that even in the world of politics, warfare, and intrigue, love can flourish and leave a lasting impact on the course of history. Chapter 8. The Diplomatic Alliance. The French Connection. Sultan Suleiman's reign was marked not only by military conquests, but also by diplomatic achievements. One of the most significant alliances of his time was with the French King Francis I. As the Ottoman Empire sought to counterbalance the power of the Habsburgs, the French found themselves in a similar situation, facing a common enemy. The alliance between France and the Ottoman Empire was considered a groundbreaking diplomatic move. The fact that a Catholic European power was willing to ally itself with a Muslim empire was a testament to Suleiman's skillful diplomacy and the mutual strategic interests of both countries. Negotiations between the two powers took place through a series of envoys and emissaries who carried messages and gifts between the royal courts. The exchanges were marked by elaborate ceremonies and expressions of goodwill, highlighting the importance both sides placed on their newfound partnership. As the alliance between the Ottoman Empire and France grew stronger, it had a significant impact on the balance of power in Europe. The joint military campaigns against the Habsburgs, as well as the shared trade interests in the Mediterranean, further solidified the bond between Suleiman and Francis I. This groundbreaking alliance not only allowed both empires to pursue their strategic goals more effectively, but also demonstrated Sultan Suleiman's ability to navigate the complex world of international diplomacy with finesse and vision. The Ambassador's Ball. To celebrate the historic alliance between the Ottoman Empire and France, a grand ball was organized at the Topkapi Palace in Constantinople. Sultan Suleiman personally invited the French ambassador and his entourage, along with prominent members of his own court, to attend the lavish event. The Ambassador's Ball was a showcase of the splendor and sophistication of the Ottoman court. Guests were treated to a sumptuous feast, featuring an array of exotic dishes and delicacies from across the empire. The palace's courtyards and halls were adorned with intricate decorations, reflecting the finest examples of Ottoman art and craftsmanship. As the evening progressed, musicians and dancers entertained the attendees with their enchanting performances. Among the dancers, Hurrem Sultan once again captivated the audience with her grace and beauty, reinforcing the deep bond between her and Sultan Suleiman. The highlight of the evening came when the Sultan and the French ambassador exchanged gifts, symbolizing the friendship between their two nations. Suleiman presented the ambassador with a magnificent jewel dagger, while the ambassador gifted the Sultan a finely crafted French arquebus. The Ambassador's Ball was a testament to the strength of the alliance between the Ottoman Empire and France, as well as a demonstration of Sultan Suleiman's commitment to fostering diplomatic relationships and promoting cultural exchange. The treaty signed. After months of negotiations and the successful Ambassador's Ball, the time had come for the formalization of the alliance between the Ottoman Empire and France. Sultan Suleiman and King Francis I had agreed upon the terms, and the stage was set for the signing of the historic treaty. In a grand ceremony at the Topkapi Palace, the representatives of both nations gathered to witness this pivotal moment. The French ambassador, acting on behalf of King Francis I, signed the document, followed by the Grand Vizier, who represented Sultan Suleiman. As the ink dried on the parchment, the alliance between the two empires was officially sealed. The treaty not only cemented the partnership between the Ottoman Empire and France, but also laid the groundwork for future cooperation in areas such as trade, military support, and cultural exchange. This alliance allowed both nations to strengthen their positions in Europe and counterbalance the growing power of their common enemy, the Habsburgs. News of the signed treaty spread rapidly throughout Europe, causing a stir among the continent's political elite. The unlikely alliance between a Muslim empire and a Catholic European power was viewed with a mixture of awe, disbelief, and apprehension by some, while others recognized the strategic brilliance of the partnership. The successful negotiation and signing of the treaty were a testament to Sultan Suleiman's diplomatic acumen and his ability to forge alliances that would benefit the Ottoman Empire for years to come. Chapter 9. The Great Siege. The Walls of Vienna. In the year 1529, Sultan Suleiman set his sights on the city of Vienna, the heart of the Holy Roman Empire. Conquering Vienna would not only solidify the Ottoman Empire's control over Central Europe, but also deal a severe blow to the Habsburgs, their arch-rival. The Sultan assembled a vast army, numbering over 100,000 soldiers, and began the long march towards Vienna. As the Ottoman forces approached the city, the Viennese defenders hurriedly fortified their walls and prepared for the impending siege. The walls of Vienna were a formidable obstacle for the Ottoman army. Built over centuries, they were a testament to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the city's engineers. The walls were constructed with multiple layers of stone and earth, reinforced by a series of bastions and towers. These defenses were designed to withstand even the most determined of attackers. As the Ottoman forces encamped outside the city, Suleiman surveyed the walls and devised a plan for the siege. He knew that a frontal assault would be costly and likely ineffective. Instead, he ordered his engineers to dig a network of tunnels under the walls, with the goal of planting explosives to breach the defenses. In the days that followed, the Ottoman army launched a series of attacks, both above and below ground, aimed at breaking the formidable walls of Vienna. The fate of the city hung in the balance, as the defenders fought with unyielding determination to repel the invaders. The War of Attrition. The siege of Vienna dragged on for weeks, with neither side showing any sign of weakness. Sultan Suleiman's forces relentlessly attacked the city walls, employing a combination of artillery bombardments, tunneling, and infantry assaults. Meanwhile, the Viennese defenders, under the leadership of their commander, Count Nicholas Sohm, fought back with unwavering determination. As the battle turned into a war of attrition, the morale of the Ottoman troops began to wane. The harsh weather conditions, coupled with the fierce resistance of the Viennese defenders, took a toll on the soldiers. Supplies became scarce, and the long drawn-out siege started to affect the soldiers' health. Despite these challenges, Sultan Suleiman remained resolute in his mission to conquer Vienna. He continued to rally his troops and devise new strategies to breach the city's defenses. However, it was becoming increasingly apparent that the odds were stacked against the Ottoman army. Meanwhile, the Habsburgs sought to capitalize on the situation by gathering a relief force to come to the aid of the besieged city. Led by the King of Hungary, Ferdinand I, this coalition of European powers was a powerful reminder of the unity that the threat of the Ottoman Empire could inspire. As the siege of Vienna dragged on, both sides struggled to gain the upper hand in a battle that would ultimately shape the course of European history. The final assault. The grueling siege of Vienna entered its final stages as Sultan Suleiman ordered a massive assault on the city's walls. The Ottoman forces, despite their exhaustion and dwindling supplies, mustered their strength for one last push to break the defenders' resolve. Under the cover of darkness, the Sultan's elite janissaries led the charge, scaling the walls with ladders and engaging the Viennese defenders in fierce hand-to-hand combat. The battle raged on throughout the night, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Meanwhile, the relief force led by King Ferdinand was rapidly approaching the besieged city. Aware of this impending threat, and the deteriorating condition of his own army, Sultan Suleiman made the difficult decision to call off the siege and retreat. As the Ottoman forces withdrew from the battlefield, the defenders of Vienna rejoiced in their hard-fought victory. The city had withstood the might of the Ottoman Empire, and the Habsburgs had successfully defended their territory against the invading forces. Although the failed siege of Vienna was a setback for Sultan Suleiman, it was by no means the end of his ambitions in Europe. The Sultan would continue to consolidate his power and expand the Ottoman Empire's reach, leaving a lasting impact on European history. Chapter 10. The Eastern Expansion. The Persian Challenge. Sultan Suleiman's ambitions were not limited to Europe. He also sought to expand the Ottoman Empire's reach in the East, where another great power loomed, the Persian Empire, under the rule of Shah Ismail and later Shah Tahmasp I. The two empires had long been rivals, their animosity fueled by both political and religious differences. While the Ottomans were Sunni Muslims, the Persians adhered to the Shia branch of Islam. In 1532, the simmering tensions between the two empires erupted into full-scale conflict when Sultan Suleiman launched a campaign to conquer the eastern territories held by the Persians. He assembled a vast army and marched towards the Persian heartland, intent on bringing the Safavid dynasty to heel. The Persian Empire, however, proved to be a formidable adversary. Their forces were well trained and equipped, and they employed a combination of guerrilla warfare and scorched earth tactics to wear down the advancing Ottoman troops. The harsh terrain of the region also played a significant role in hampering the progress of Suleiman's army. Despite these challenges, the Sultan pressed on, determined to expand his empire and assert Ottoman dominance in the east. The campaign would become one of the most significant military endeavors of his reign, testing both his strategic acumen and the mettle of his soldiers. The Battle of Chaldiran. As the conflict between the Ottoman and Persian empires intensified, the two great powers finally met in a decisive battle near the town of Chaldiran in 1514. Sultan Suleiman, with his impressive army, faced Shah Ismail I, the formidable leader of the Safavid dynasty. The stakes were high, as the outcome of the battle would determine the balance of power in the region. The Ottoman army enjoyed a significant advantage in both numbers and technology. Their artillery, including the powerful cannons that had proven so effective in earlier campaigns, provided them with superior firepower. In contrast, the Persian forces relied mainly on their cavalry and the swift, agile tactics they had honed through years of guerrilla warfare. As the battle commenced, the Ottoman artillery barraged the Persian lines, inflicting heavy casualties and disrupting their formations. Shah Ismail, however, remained undeterred and led his troops in a daring charge against the Ottoman ranks. Despite their initial success, the Persian forces were ultimately unable to withstand the overwhelming firepower and discipline of the Ottoman army. The battle ended in a decisive victory for Sultan Suleiman, and the Persian Empire was forced to cede significant territories to the Ottomans. The Battle of Chaldiran marked a turning point in the conflict between the two empires, strengthening the Ottoman Empire's position in the east and signaling the beginning of a new era of expansion. The new territories. Following the momentous victory at the Battle of Chaldiran, Sultan Suleiman's forces pushed further into Persian territory, seizing strategic cities and fortresses. The Ottomans' new conquests included the city of Tabriz, which became a temporary capital for the empire's eastern provinces. The Sultan's triumph over the Safavid dynasty not only expanded the Ottoman Empire's borders, but also allowed Suleiman to consolidate his rule over the newly acquired territories. He implemented reforms to strengthen the empire's administration, establish a unified system of law, and promote trade and commerce throughout the region. Despite their defeat, the Persians remained a constant threat to the Ottoman Empire. Skirmishes and territorial disputes continued to simmer along the border, and both empires remained wary of each other's intentions. Sultan Suleiman's eastern expansion had undoubtedly shifted the balance of power in the region, but it had also created new challenges for his empire. The conquest of these new territories also brought the Ottoman Empire into contact with diverse cultures and peoples. This exposure to new ideas, customs, and technologies would have a profound influence on the empire's development, shaping its art, architecture, and science for generations to come. Chapter 11: The Ocean's Call. The Indian Ocean Adventure. While Sultan Suleiman continued to expand his empire and solidify his rule, he also turned his gaze to the Indian Ocean. The vast and bustling maritime trade routes that connected Asia, Africa, and Europe presented immense economic opportunities for the Ottoman Empire. In order to capitalize on these prospects, the Sultan resolved to establish a strong Ottoman presence in the Indian Ocean. Under the leadership of Admiral Piri Reis, a skilled cartographer and explorer, the Ottoman fleet embarked on an ambitious expedition to explore the far reaches of the Indian Ocean. Sailing past the Arabian Peninsula and the Horn of Africa, the fleet encountered thriving ports and exotic lands, from the coastal cities of India to the fabled Spice Islands of Indonesia. As the fleet charted new waters and established diplomatic relations with local rulers, they also engaged in the age-old game of power and politics. The Ottoman Empire was not the only power vying for control of the lucrative trade routes. The Portuguese, with their formidable navy and aggressive expansionist policies, posed a significant challenge to the Sultan's ambitions. The Indian Ocean adventure marked the beginning of a new chapter in the Ottoman Empire's history, as the Sultan sought to secure the empire's future prosperity through trade and diplomacy. The pirate menace. As the Ottoman fleet sailed deeper into the Indian Ocean, they encountered a growing threat to their mission: piracy. The lucrative trade routes had attracted a myriad of pirates, from the notorious Barbary corsairs to local marauders, who preyed upon merchant ships and coastal settlements alike. The pirates posed a significant challenge to the Sultan's ambitions in the region, as they disrupted the flow of trade and threatened the safety of the empire's subjects. Sultan Suleiman, recognizing the severity of the pirate menace, ordered Admiral Piri Reis to confront and eliminate the threat wherever possible. The Ottoman fleet engaged in numerous skirmishes with the pirates, employing both naval firepower and cunning tactics to defeat their elusive foes. In a daring raid on a pirate stronghold, the Ottomans succeeded in capturing several prominent pirate captains, dismantling their networks, and recovering a vast treasure trove of stolen goods. The Sultan's efforts to combat piracy not only ensured the safety of the empire's ships and coastal communities, but also helped to solidify the empire's reputation as a dominant naval power in the Indian Ocean. This strategic victory further strengthened the Ottomans' position in the region and paved the way for greater trade and diplomatic opportunities. The trade route secured. With the pirate threat subdued, the Ottoman fleet could finally focus on securing and expanding the empire's trade network in the Indian Ocean. Admiral Piri Reis and his sailors established strategic alliances with local rulers, offering protection and support in exchange for valuable trade concessions and access to local markets. The empire's increased presence in the Indian Ocean opened new trade routes, bringing a wealth of exotic goods to Ottoman markets. Spices, silks, and precious gemstones flowed into the empire, fueling a golden age of prosperity and cultural exchange. The Sultan's efforts to secure the trade route also led to the establishment of several Ottoman outposts and colonies along the Indian Ocean coast. These settlements not only facilitated trade and diplomacy, but also served as vital refueling and resupply points for the empire's ships, further solidifying the Ottoman presence in the region. As a result of Sultan Suleiman's vision and the daring exploits of Admiral Piri Reis, the Ottoman Empire became a dominant force in the Indian Ocean. The Sultan's success in securing the trade route ensured the empire's continued prosperity and set the stage for future generations to explore the farthest reaches of the world. Chapter 12. The World's Wonder. The Grand Mosque. In the midst of the Ottoman Empire's golden age of prosperity and cultural exchange, Sultan Suleiman turned his attention to a monumental project that would symbolize his reign and demonstrate the empire's artistic and architectural prowess: the construction of a grand mosque in the capital, Istanbul. The Sultan commissioned the brilliant architect Mimar Sinan to design and oversee the construction of the mosque, which would become known as the Suleimani Mosque. Sinan, a master of his craft, was determined to create a structure that would surpass all others in beauty, scale, and complexity. As construction commenced, the best artisans, craftsmen, and labourers from across the empire were brought together to work on this ambitious project. They employed innovative techniques and utilized the finest materials, such as marble, gold, and precious stones, to create a breathtaking masterpiece. The Grand Mosque quickly became the centerpiece of Istanbul, with its soaring minarets, majestic domes, and intricate geometric designs. It was more than just a place of worship. It was also a center for learning, featuring a vast library, schools, and a hospital, reflecting the Sultan's dedication to the pursuit of knowledge and the welfare of his people. The domes and minarets. As the construction of the Suleimani Mosque progressed, the architectural marvel took shape under the watchful eye of Mimar Sinan. The crowning achievements of the structure were its towering domes and slender minarets, which came to symbolize the mosque's majesty and the heights of the Ottoman Empire's artistic accomplishments. The central dome, an engineering marvel, was designed to be higher and wider than any other in the empire. Supported by a series of smaller domes and elegant arches, the central dome seemed to defy gravity, creating an awe-inspiring space beneath it that filled the mosque's visitors with a sense of wonder. The four minarets, each reaching skyward, further enhanced the mosque's grandeur. These slender towers served as a testament to the empire's power and influence, and their distinctive silhouette became an iconic symbol of the city of Istanbul. Sinan's innovative designs and the unparalleled craftsmanship of the artisans working on the mosque resulted in a structure that was both functional and visually stunning. The harmony of the domes and minarets, combined with the intricate geometric patterns adorning the walls, ceilings, and floors, created a masterpiece that would be remembered for generations to come. The opening ceremony. After years of tireless work, the Suleimani Mosque was finally complete, and a grand opening ceremony was planned to celebrate the occasion. People from all corners of the Ottoman Empire and beyond were invited to witness the unveiling of this architectural masterpiece, which would forever change the landscape of Istanbul. The opening ceremony began with a magnificent procession, as the Sultan and his entourage, accompanied by soldiers, dignitaries, and esteemed scholars, made their way from the palace to the mosque. Colourful banners and flags fluttered in the breeze, and the sounds of drums and trumpets filled the air, announcing the arrival of the imperial party. As the Sultan entered the courtyard of the Suleimani Mosque, he was struck by the beauty and grandeur of Mimar Sinan's creation. The harmonious blend of domes, minarets, and elegant arches was a testament to the empire's artistic achievements and a symbol of its unity and strength. The courtyard was filled with thousands of people, eagerly awaiting the Sultan's address. With a wave of his hand, the crowd fell silent, and Sultan Suleiman began to speak. His voice, filled with pride and emotion, echoed throughout the courtyard as he praised the architects, artisans, and labourers who had brought his vision to life. He declared the Suleimani Mosque a symbol of the empire's greatness and a beacon of hope and inspiration for generations to come. Following the Sultan's speech, a resounding call to prayer rang out from the minarets, filling the air with a sense of reverence and serenity. The people bowed their heads in prayer, and the Sultan joined them, humbled by the magnificent structure that now stood as a testament to his reign. With the sun setting on this momentous day, the people of Istanbul gathered to celebrate the opening of the Suleimani Mosque with feasting, music, and dancing that lasted well into the night. As the festivities continued, the mosque's domes and minarets were illuminated, casting a warm glow over the city, and the people rejoiced, knowing that they had witnessed the birth of a legend. Chapter 13. The Royal Intrigue. The Power Struggle. As Sultan Suleiman's reign continued, his empire thrived, and the magnificent Suleimani Mosque stood as a testament to its prosperity. Yet, beneath the surface, a power struggle began to brew within the royal court. Ambitious viziers, generals, and advisors vied for the Sultan's favour, seeking influence and authority in the administration of the vast empire. One of the most prominent figures in this power struggle was Grand Vizier Ibrahim Pasha, a trusted friend and confidant of Sultan Suleiman. His meteoric rise to power and influence had earned him many admirers, but also many enemies. His rivals in the court, envious of his close relationship with the Sultan, plotted to undermine his position and seize power for themselves. At the same time, the Sultan's beloved wife, Harem Sultan, had also become a force to be reckoned with in the palace. Her intelligence, charm, and influence over the Sultan made her a formidable player in the political arena, and she skillfully navigated the treacherous waters of court intrigue. As the power struggle intensified, factions began to form within the court, each seeking to advance their own interests and undermine their rivals. The palace became a hotbed of conspiracies and secret alliances, as ambitious courtiers schemed and plotted against one another. Sultan Suleiman, aware of the growing unrest within his court, struggled to maintain the delicate balance of power. He was torn between his loyalty to his trusted advisors, his love for Harem, and the need to ensure the stability and security of his empire. As the power struggle threatened to erupt into open conflict, the Sultan knew that he had to take decisive action to restore order and unity to his realm. The spies and secrets. In an effort to protect his empire and maintain control over the power struggle within the court, Sultan Suleiman turned to a clandestine network of spies and informants. These skilled agents, operating in the shadows, were tasked with gathering intelligence on the various factions and uncovering their plots and schemes. The Sultan's chief spymaster, a cunning and resourceful man named Bekir, was entrusted with the responsibility of managing this network of spies. Bekir's agents infiltrated every level of the palace, from the kitchens and stables to the council chambers and royal apartments. No secret was safe from their watchful eyes and keen ears. As the web of intrigue and deceit grew ever more tangled, the spies began to uncover a series of conspiracies and assassination plots targeting key figures within the court, including the Grand Vizier, Ibrahim Pasha. With this information, Bekir was able to thwart these plots and bring the traitors to justice. Meanwhile, Harem Sultan, always vigilant and perceptive, had managed to cultivate her own network of informants within the palace. Through these sources, she learned of the various factions working against her and her husband, the Sultan. Armed with this knowledge, Hürrem worked tirelessly to protect the interests of her family and the empire, using her charm and wit to outmaneuver her adversaries. As the spies and secrets continued to weave their tangled web, the true extent of the power struggle within the court became apparent. Sultan Suleiman was faced with the difficult task of maintaining order and stability in his realm while navigating the treacherous waters of royal intrigue. The betrayal uncovered. The web of intrigue and betrayal within the court of Sultan Suleiman came to a head with the revelation of a stunning betrayal that threatened to tear the empire apart. It was revealed that one of the Sultan's most trusted advisors, a man named Mustafa, had been secretly plotting with foreign powers to overthrow Sultan Suleiman and seize the throne for himself. Mustafa had been secretly communicating with the rival Safavid dynasty, offering to aid them in their efforts to invade the Ottoman Empire and promising to betray the Sultan in exchange for their support. This shocking revelation sent shockwaves through the palace and left Sultan Suleiman reeling. He was torn between his duty to punish the traitor and his affection for the man he had once considered a close friend and advisor. In the end, however, duty won out. Sultan Suleiman ordered Mustafa's arrest and had him executed for his treachery. The betrayal sent a clear message to all those within the court that disloyalty would not be tolerated and that the Sultan's authority was absolute. Despite the turmoil and intrigue that surrounded him, Sultan Suleiman remained focused on his goals of expanding and strengthening the empire. With the help of his loyal advisors and allies, he continued to build and consolidate his power, leading the Ottoman Empire to new heights of wealth and influence. As the dust settled on the palace intrigue, it became clear that the Sultan's legacy would endure. His commitment to justice, order, and stability had allowed the Ottoman Empire to flourish, and his reign would be remembered as a golden age of prosperity and progress. Chapter 14. The Lion's Den. A narrow escape. The Sultan was taken by surprise when the conspirators attacked him in his chambers. His loyal guards tried their best to protect him, but they were outnumbered. The conspirators, led by a high-ranking official, wanted to end the Sultan's rule. During their escape, the conspirators faced unexpected resistance from a group of soldiers who had heard the noise and came to investigate. In the confusion, the Sultan's advisor managed to alert the palace guard. A long battle followed, but the Sultan's forces were ultimately victorious. The conspirators were captured, and their leader was exiled, as the Sultan showed mercy. After the attack, the Sultan realized he needed better security and tried to make peace with those who opposed him. He wanted to heal the divisions that had led to the attempted coup. The Sultan continued to rule with wisdom and kindness, determined to leave a positive legacy for his people. The Hidden Cave. As the palace guards searched for the missing Sultan, one of them remembered a secret cave near the city. They thought the Sultan might have sought refuge there. A small group of trusted men set out to find him, traveling over rugged terrain and steep hills. When they reached the cave, they found the Sultan safe inside. Despite the cave's darkness and dampness, the Sultan and his companions had made it comfortable. However, he knew he couldn't stay hidden forever and needed a plan to retake his throne and stop the rebellion. With his advisor's help, the Sultan created a strategy to regain his kingdom. They assembled a small army and launched a surprise attack on the rebels. The Sultan's forces quickly defeated the unprepared rebels, and he regained control over his kingdom. His people hailed him as a hero. The hidden cave became a symbol of the Sultan's bravery and determination. It reminded everyone of the great lengths he went to protect his kingdom and his people. His victory would be remembered as one of the most impressive military achievements in history. The Lion's Heart. The Sultan was deeply saddened by the loss of Mustafa, who had been like a son to him. They shared a heartfelt farewell, and the Sultan promised to ensure justice for Mustafa's suffering. After Mustafa's passing, news of his execution spread throughout the empire, causing shock and grief among the people. Despite the public's reaction, the Sultan remained firm in his decision, believing it was for the greater good of the empire. He ordered Mustafa to be buried with full honours and instructed his name never to be spoken again to protect his legacy. Though the lion's heart had been broken, the Sultan continued to lead his empire with determination and strength. His reign persisted as a time of prosperity and growth, solidifying his position as one of the greatest sultans in history. The legacy of Suleiman would endure, marking his rule as the golden age of the Ottoman Empire. Chapter 15. The Family Matters. The Royal Children. As the longest reigning sultan in Ottoman history, Sultan Suleiman had many children throughout his life, but it was his sons who were destined to play a key role in the future of the empire. Sultan Suleiman was a devoted father who took great care to ensure that his sons were educated and trained in the skills necessary to rule the empire. Each of his sons was carefully groomed for a specific role in the government or military, and the Sultan took great care to ensure that they received the best education and training available. Of all his sons, it was Prince Selim who would ultimately succeed Sultan Suleiman as the ruler of the Ottoman Empire. Known for his wisdom, intelligence, and military prowess, Selim was well suited to the challenges that lay ahead. But the road to the throne was not without its challenges. Selim had to contend with the ambitions of his brothers, who were also vying for power and position within the empire. The rivalry between the brothers sometimes led to open conflict, and Sultan Suleiman had to intervene to keep the peace and ensure that the empire remained stable. Despite the challenges, Sultan Suleiman was proud of his sons and the legacy they would leave for future generations. He knew that the Ottoman Empire was in good hands with his sons at the helm, and he took comfort in the knowledge that his legacy would live on through them. The royal children of Sultan Suleiman were a testament to his commitment to the future of the empire, and their accomplishments would shape the course of Ottoman history for many years to come. The succession plan. The Ottoman Empire was one of the most powerful and influential empires in world history, and as such, the question of succession was of paramount importance. With so many potential heirs to the throne, it was important to have a clear and well-defined succession plan in place. Sultan Suleiman was well aware of the importance of succession, and he took great care to ensure that his wishes were known and respected. He made it clear that his eldest son, Prince Mustafa, was to be his successor, but when Mustafa was accused of treason and executed, the question of succession became more complicated. Sultan Suleiman eventually settled on his son Selim as his successor, but he also made sure that his other sons had important roles within the empire. Each of his sons was given a specific role to play, whether it was in the government, the military, or the arts, and Sultan Suleiman made it clear that he valued each of his sons for their unique talents and abilities. The succession plan put in place by Sultan Suleiman ensured a smooth transition of power and helped to ensure the stability of the empire. It also ensured that the legacy of Sultan Suleiman would live on through his sons and their descendants. The Ottoman Empire continued to thrive under the rule of Sultan Selim and his successors, and the succession plan put in place by Sultan Suleiman played an important role in this success. The legacy ensured. Sultan Suleiman was a visionary leader who accomplished many great things during his reign, and he was keenly aware of the importance of leaving a lasting legacy. He worked tirelessly to ensure that his accomplishments would be remembered long after he was gone, and he took great care to preserve and promote the cultural and intellectual achievements of his empire. One of Sultan Suleiman's most enduring legacies is the magnificent architecture and art that he commissioned during his reign. The Suleimani Mosque in Istanbul, for example, is a stunning masterpiece of Ottoman architecture, and it remains one of the most iconic buildings in the city. Sultan Suleiman also supported the arts, and his reign is often referred to as a golden age of Ottoman literature, music, and poetry. But Sultan Suleiman's legacy is not just one of cultural and intellectual achievement. He was also a wise and just ruler who was deeply committed to his people. He established schools and hospitals throughout the empire, and he worked tirelessly to ensure that his people were well taken care of. Sultan Suleiman's legacy was ensured by his successors, who continued to build on his achievements and maintain the stability of the empire. The Ottoman Empire continued to thrive for centuries after Sultan Suleiman's reign, and his influence can still be felt in the cultures and societies of the modern Middle East. The legacy of Sultan Suleiman is a testament to his vision, his dedication, and his commitment to his people. He was a true leader and a true statesman, and his contributions to history will always be remembered. Chapter 16: The Sultan's Legacy. The Cultural Renaissance. Sultan Suleiman's reign was not only marked by impressive military achievements, but also by a cultural renaissance that transformed the Ottoman Empire. Under his rule, the empire experienced a period of immense growth and development in various fields such as architecture, literature, and the arts. This flourishing of culture became a defining characteristic of the era. One of the most significant architectural accomplishments during Suleiman's reign was the construction of the Suleimani Mosque, designed by the renowned architect Sinan. The mosque's breathtaking beauty, featuring intricate designs and a harmonious blend of Islamic and Byzantine influences, showcased the peak of Ottoman architectural prowess. The Suleimani Mosque was not only a place of worship, but also a symbol of the Sultan's dedication to promoting art and culture in his empire. In addition to architecture, literature thrived during this period. Poets and scholars enjoyed the Sultan's patronage and support, and their works became well known throughout the empire. Suleiman himself was a skilled poet, often writing under the pen name Mikabi. His poetry touched on themes of love, devotion, and the human experience, reflecting his deep connection to the arts. Moreover, the arts flourished in Suleiman's time, with painters and craftsmen finding inspiration in the empire's rich history and diverse cultural heritage. Their artwork adorned the walls of palaces, mosques, and public spaces, bringing beauty and inspiration to the people of the empire. Suleiman's dedication to cultural advancement extended to education as well. He established numerous schools and institutions, emphasizing the importance of learning and knowledge. He believed that an educated society would contribute to the empire's overall progress and prosperity. The cultural renaissance during Sultan Suleiman's reign left a lasting impact on the Ottoman Empire. His unwavering support for the arts, architecture, literature, and education allowed for unparalleled growth and development in these areas. This period of cultural flourishing became an essential part of the Sultan's legacy, solidifying his place in history as a ruler who valued not only military might, but also intellectual and artistic achievements. The lasting influence. Sultan Suleiman's reign left a lasting influence on the Ottoman Empire and the world beyond. His contributions to the empire, including military conquests, administrative reforms, and the cultural renaissance, shaped the future of the region and set a high standard for the rulers who would follow. One of the most notable aspects of Suleiman's legacy was his commitment to justice and the rule of law. He implemented a series of legal reforms that aimed to ensure fairness and equality for all citizens, regardless of their social status. These reforms, known as the Suleiman Laws, streamlined the legal system, and provided a solid foundation for the empire's governance. The Sultan's commitment to justice earned him the title Suleiman the Lawgiver. Suleiman's influence was also felt in the realm of diplomacy and international relations. Under his rule, the Ottoman Empire formed alliances and established trade networks with various European and Asian powers. These relationships expanded the empire's reach and enabled it to become a major player on the world stage. Suleiman's diplomacy demonstrated the importance of fostering cooperation and mutual understanding between different cultures and nations. Furthermore, Sultan Suleiman's patronage of the arts and sciences had a profound impact on the Ottoman Empire's cultural identity. The advancements made during his reign helped define the empire's artistic and intellectual character for generations to come. The lasting influence of this cultural renaissance can still be seen in the region's architecture, literature, and artistic traditions today. Even after Suleiman's death, his legacy lived on through the actions of his descendants and the empire's continued expansion. His successors sought to uphold the high standards he had set, and his ideals of justice, diplomacy, and cultural patronage became guiding principles for future generations of Ottoman rulers. In conclusion, Sultan Suleiman's lasting influence on the Ottoman Empire and beyond cannot be overstated. His dedication to justice, diplomacy, and the arts helped shape the empire's identity and forged a powerful legacy that would endure for centuries. The impact of his reign on history is a testament to his exceptional leadership and vision, securing his place as one of the greatest sultans in the annals of the Ottoman Empire. The stories retold. Sultan Suleiman's remarkable achievements and his enduring legacy continue to inspire storytellers, historians, and artists alike. Through countless retellings, the stories of his reign have been kept alive, allowing future generations to learn from and appreciate the rich history of the Ottoman Empire. One of the most famous accounts of Sultan Suleiman's life is the historical fiction television series, Magnificent Century. This popular show captures the intrigue, romance, and drama of Suleiman's court, bringing to life the complex relationships and events that shaped his rule. While the series takes some creative liberties, it serves as a powerful reminder of the lasting impact of Suleiman's reign and has introduced his story to a new generation of viewers around the world. In addition to television adaptations, the tales of Sultan Suleiman have been preserved through historical writings and academic research. Scholars continue to study and analyze the events of his reign, shedding light on the political, social, and cultural aspects of the era. Through their work, historians ensure that the lessons of Suleiman's rule are not forgotten, and his contributions to the Ottoman Empire are remembered and understood. The stories of Sultan Suleiman have also been immortalized through various forms of art. Paintings, sculptures, and other artistic representations of the Sultan and his court can be found in museums and galleries across the globe. These works of art not only celebrate the accomplishments of Suleiman's reign, but also serve as a testament to the creativity and skill of the artists who lived during his time. Moreover, the oral tradition of storytelling has played a significant role in keeping the memory of Sultan Suleiman alive. Families and communities have passed down tales of the Sultan's wisdom, bravery, and compassion from one generation to the next. These stories have become an important part of the cultural heritage of the region, ensuring that Suleiman's legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of the people. In conclusion, the stories of Sultan Suleiman's life and reign continue to be retold and celebrated across various mediums, from television and historical writings to art and oral storytelling. These narratives capture the essence of his extraordinary legacy and serve as a reminder of the lasting impact he had on the Ottoman Empire and the world. Through these stories, Sultan Suleiman's remarkable achievements and unwavering spirit will continue to inspire generations to come. Chapter 17. The Timeless Legend. The Myth and Reality. As time passed, the legacy of the great Ottoman Empire became the subject of myth and legend. The achievements of the sultans and their armies were often exaggerated, and their flaws and shortcomings were forgotten. Yet, behind the myths, there was a reality that was just as fascinating and complex. The Ottomans were not just conquerors and rulers. They were also patrons of the arts, sciences, and scholarship. They built great mosques and palaces, founded universities and libraries, and collected and preserved books and manuscripts from all over the world. They created a vibrant and diverse culture that blended Islamic, Turkish, Arab, Persian, and European elements. However, the Ottomans were also subject to the same human weaknesses and limitations as any other society. They faced challenges from within and without, including political rivalries, economic crises, and military defeats. They struggled to maintain their power and influence in a changing world, and eventually they were overtaken by new forces and ideas. Today, the legacy of the Ottoman Empire continues to be a subject of fascination and debate. Some see it as a model of multiculturalism and tolerance, while others view it as a symbol of oppression and imperialism. Regardless of one's perspective, it is clear that the Ottomans left a lasting impact on the world, and their story is one that continues to inspire and intrigue people around the globe. As the Ottoman Empire faded into history, its legacy continued to live on in the cultures and societies that it had touched. The myths and legends of the sultans and their armies were retold and embellished, becoming a part of the popular imagination. The mosques and palaces they had built continued to stand as symbols of their power and splendor, while their books and manuscripts remained a source of inspiration and knowledge for scholars and researchers. In many ways, the legacy of the Ottoman Empire continues to shape the modern world, from the architecture of its cities to the politics of its nations. Its influence can be seen in the cultural traditions of the Middle East and North Africa, as well as in the cuisines, languages, and customs of the regions that it once ruled. As we look back on the Ottoman Empire, we are reminded of the power and complexity of human history. The story of the Ottomans is one that contains both myth and reality, both triumph and tragedy. Yet, through it all, the empire remains a timeless legend, a testament to the enduring power of human achievement and the legacy of those who came before us. In conclusion, the story of the Ottoman Empire is one of triumphs and tragedies, of conquests and defeats, of greatness and decline. The legacy of the Ottoman sultans lives on in the architecture, art, and culture of the regions they once ruled, as well as in the memories of their people. The myth and reality of the Ottoman Empire continue to captivate people around the world, and its impact on history cannot be denied. While some view the Ottomans as tyrants and conquerors, others see them as benevolent rulers who brought peace and prosperity to their subjects. Regardless of one's perspective, it is clear that the Ottoman Empire was a major player on the world stage for centuries, shaping the political, cultural, and economic landscape of Europe and Asia. Its legacy can be seen in the many cities, buildings, and cultural artifacts that still stand today, as well as in the stories and legends that have been passed down through the generations. The Ottoman Empire may be gone, but its influence on the world lives on, making it truly a timeless legend. The Immortal Sultan. Suleiman the Magnificent, the 10th Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, is often referred to as the Immortal Sultan due to his long and prosperous reign, his significant achievements, and his lasting impact on the Ottoman Empire and the world. During his reign, Suleiman transformed the Ottoman Empire into a powerful and wealthy state, expanding its territories and enhancing its military, cultural, and scientific capabilities. He introduced significant legal and administrative reforms, such as the canon name, a code of laws that aimed to ensure justice and order, and the devshirme system, a practice of recruiting young boys from Christian families to train as soldiers and administrators for the empire. He also patronized art and literature, and his court became a center of culture and scholarship. Suleiman is also famous for his military campaigns, including the conquest of Belgrade, Rhodes, and Hungary, as well as his long-standing rivalry with the Safavid Empire of Persia. His most famous military campaign, however, was the Siege of Vienna in 1529, in which he led an army of over 100,000 soldiers to capture the city, but was ultimately unsuccessful. Despite his military prowess, Suleiman was also a poet and a philosopher, and his poetry and writings have been studied and celebrated for centuries. He is known for his love for his wife Hurrem Sultan, who had significant influence in the Ottoman court and played a crucial role in many of Suleiman's decisions. The legacy of Suleiman the Magnificent continues to inspire and intrigue people around the world, and his impact on the Ottoman Empire and the world at large is undeniable. From his legal and administrative reforms to his military campaigns and cultural contributions, Suleiman's reign has left a lasting mark on history. The enduring tale. The legacy of the Ottoman Empire and its sultans has endured through the centuries, shaping the history of the world and inspiring countless tales and legends. The story of the empire's rise and fall, and of the great sultans who ruled it, has become a source of fascination and inspiration for people around the globe. One of the enduring tales of the Ottoman Empire is that of Suleiman the Magnificent and his beloved wife, Hurrem Sultan. Their story has been romanticized and retold countless times in literature, film, and television, and has become an iconic symbol of the empire's power and cultural richness. Another tale that has endured over time is that of Mehmed the Conqueror and the fall of Constantinople. The epic siege and conquest of the city in 1453 has been immortalized in countless works of art, literature, and film, and has become a symbol of the Ottoman Empire's military might and expansionist ambitions. Yet another enduring tale is that of the Grand Mosque of Istanbul, also known as the Blue Mosque, which remains one of the most iconic landmarks of the city and a symbol of the Ottoman Empire's architectural and artistic achievements. These and many other stories and legends have contributed to the enduring legacy of the Ottoman Empire and its sultans. They continue to capture the imagination of people around the world and inspire new generations to learn about the rich cultural heritage of the empire. In conclusion, the Ottoman Empire's legacy is a complex and multifaceted one, encompassing both the triumphs and tragedies of its history. Yet, despite the passage of time, its enduring influence on the world remains a testament to the greatness of its sultans and the enduring power of their vision and accomplishments.